Hello. So I've been meaning to make videos. Been for like a year, but I've gotten lazy, and I've been doing my own stuff. Game hacking, shit like that. Windows kernel drivers, things like that. I've been meaning to make a full-on Windows course, getting into the Windows OS. It's gonna be based on what makes a page and Windows internals. But aside from that, I'm gonna actually explain the hell the video is. So I'm using Zydis. Zydis is this shit even recording? Okay, it is. So Zydis is how do I? It's a disassembler, I guess. Whatever. You take a memory address and you feed it into Zydis, and it gives you the assembly code. It gives you the opcodes, the actual byte in there, given that the memory is actually valid. So for this, I thought it was interesting to show, because I actually just discovered Zydis. I haven't really used Zydis. I just use a hypervisor for um yeah, forget it. Anyways, so on the actual main page of Zydis, the code is broken, doesn't work. So I had to implement this on my own. Um, on their GitHub page, I mean most of the code is right. Like the stuff above it is right. This stuff, I think it's right. But the function that they use is not there anymore. It's deprecated. So what I did was I did while Cyan success Zydis decoder full, right? Just fed it the bytes, and I'm getting the bytes dynamically, right? So what I'm doing is I'm opening a process, right? I'm getting the base address and I'm feeding it into Zydis, like right here, and then I'm just displaying it. So let me give you an example. So here's Task Manager. I'm gonna find LG Hub, for example. Okay, not there. 6040. So I just wanna show an example on this. Actually, fuck that. Let me open my Visual Studio. Let me go with loop. Um, and this is in desktop val. This is for Valorant. Ignore this. Probably shouldn't say that on the video. Whatever, it's too late. So, it's just a program that runs a loop. And if you open up CFF Explorer, I'll show you the point of this. So, and we put in loop.exe. Go to the optional headers, or sorry, section headers. Now you see the text section, which actually contains the code. Um, Starts at this offset from the base address where the process is loaded in memory, right? So I'm gonna run loop. Okay, gonna go on. My bad for the shit programming. I gotta do all this to actually find it. Whatever. So 8268 loop exe. Now, just as an example, I'm gonna modify this. This is how much. This is the size of. This is the size of bytes we wanna decode, right? We want to disassemble it. It's texting me. Okay. So I'm gonna run this as an example just to show you. So if I run this, right? Oof. What is this? This is not right. Why is it all add? Okay, hold on. Let me make the size smaller. Actually, 0x like 10. Let me make sure it's right. Okay, so it's definitely right. So when you disassemble the first part of a PE header, it's obviously the DOS header, the NT headers. Um, so this is not like accurate code, right? This is how you know you're not looking at real code, because it's just a bunch of bullshit. Now I'm gonna increase this by like 100 more. Now, as you can see, the actual text section of the program is here. We are disassembling that, right? It starts at around here. You have some padding, then the actual code in the text section. That's pretty cool to show this, but the actual usage of this is what I'm doing here. So, say you have an anti-cheat, right? Or maybe malware that is. And by the way, advanced malware is not like this. You can't just trust the original mapping or the current mapping of a VAD entry. But what I'm doing here is I'm taking a process, right? I'm getting whatever. Just ignore this. Ignore this bullshit over here. Basically, I'm just finding anti-query virtual memory at runtime because it's not exported by Windows for some reason. But anyways, so what I'm doing is I'm calling it. Now, if you don't know anti-virtual query, at least I'm pretty sure it only walks the VAD, the virtual address descriptor, right? Because yeah, whatever, forget it. It walks through it, and then it grabs the information about each page that the virtual address descriptor describes, right? Now this is a very strict case, right? A lot of malware actually, or a lot of anti-cheats, what they'll do is when they're allocating space in a program to um what's it called? To put malware in there, right? To put shellcode in it, whatever. They will usually just call virtual query, right? Virtual query X. Now, if you call virtual query X on a process, what it's going to do, or even your own process, what it's going to do is it's going to allocate a private page. So the virtual address descriptor describing that page that was allocated is going to be private. And basically, if it's executable, I'm just putting the base address here. Now, what we can do is if it's like a manually mapped DLL, right? What you could do is you can take a private executable page, you can dump it to a text file. Maybe I'll do that and I'll upload it. I actually have one where I do that. I just don't use Zydis for it. That's when I started reversing, what's it called? VAC, like a year back when I just when I just got into game hacking, whatever. Like my most recent video was Siege. That was, hacking Siege. That was with a driver. Yeah, it's like a year and a half after I started. So I didn't even know what like a fucking kernel callback was back then, but kernel callback. But anyways, whatever. I'm yapping. So what you can do, and again, this is a strict case. Like I can easily avoid this. This is not a good detection mechanism for actual malware. I'm just talking about anti-cheats here. What you can do is you can find a private page, and which is executable. Now most likely this could be a manually mapped DLL, or it could just be random shellcode that's streamed at runtime into the game. You can dump it online, or you can dump it offline, whatever, into like a text pad, or you can just read it actually while it's in memory. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just reading the base address of the process I'm opening, but this could easily be, for example, here we can do pvoid target address is equal to MBI MBI base address, right? So now we're reading from the base address of the allocated page, and I can just put this as target address. Now there is executable private pages in memory normally, right? This isn't an immediate indication of malware. But I remember for VAC, what I would do is I would I would take the pages, right, that are executable in private, and then I would go in a game, wait for VAC or Steam Service EXE, whatever it's called, to load the page at runtime because it loads it when you get in the game, and I would dump that page offline, and then I would again didn't use Zydis. I used an interpreter, didn't use Zydis, but I just found Zydis. I thought it's pretty cool to make a video on it. And you can decode it, format it, and you can print the instructions as I showed earlier. So, um, as you can see, it's pretty accurate, right? You can even open up Cheat Engine and look actually. You can just use Cheat Engine. Here, hold up. Like LG Hub processes. I think it's this one. If you go to memory view, right, and you go lghub.exe, right? Shit. I'm guessing it's not the name. Yeah, LG Hub updated. That's not what I want. Do I not have Logitech open or something? Shit. I have no idea which one I'm using. Actually, I don't think it matters, right? Let me see. Memory view. LG Hub exe. Yeah. So I remember I showed Pop just this is trying to this is disassembling the PE headers, the PE header like the DOS header and shit. So obviously it's gonna be junk. I mean immediately you know this is not real code because of all the ads and shit, whatever. But anyways, we go to LG Hub exe plus whatever the offset is here. so this is not the process I am working with. Yeah, this is not the same one I'm working with. Yeah. Well, that's annoying. I'm trying to find it. Mm, maybe it's this one. God. Nope, not even what I'm trying to do. LG Hub exe plus that. No. That's annoying. Here, let me see. Wait, what the hell was it in CFF Explorer? Give me that. Nah. I mean, I can't tell really. Maybe it's this one. Jesus. I have it for the noises, you know? A little bit sick. Yeah, whatever. I can't find it. Forget it. Okay, the whole point is that if it's a manually mapped DLL, right, you can find the page in memory, and typically the text region starts here. Like, I can open multiple executables, the text region will start around here. But what you can do is, for example, if LG was a manually mapped DLL, what I could do is I could run it at the base address of the page where it's allocated, right? And normally for a manually mapped DLL, the first few bytes, or not the first few bytes, like the DOS header, the NT headers, the section headers, it's all going to be zeroed out because you only need that when you're actually loading the portable executable into memory. But what I could do is I could look at the base address of the page that's private and executable. I could scroll down, and eventually when I see code, I would know that's manually mapped shell code. If that makes sense. Yeah, and I don't know how to edit my videos, so I'll probably just put a comment to ignore all the bullshit I said earlier. That I try to do with Cheat Engine. I don't know.